Hello, my name is Crystal Sixberry, and today I will be discussing how a chronically ill child can affect the entire family. I chose this topic because it is something I hold near and dear to my heart. I am currently a volunteer wish granter for Make-A-Wish Arizona and work closely with chronically ill children as well as their families. Being a part of this organization is what led me to Arizona State University in pursuit of my master's degree in family and human development. First, I would like to share a story about one of my wish kids. We'll call her Melissa to protect the identity of her family. Melissa was an average young girl with hopes and dreams of becoming a basketball star. Shortly after her 10th birthday, her mother noticed she was having dizzy spells and losing her balance often. As her concern grew and the symptoms progressed, Melissa's mother took her to see multiple doctors, but each doctor said the symptoms were a sign of a sinus infection. Weeks later, the symptoms continued, and Melissa's speech became impaired. With these new developments, her mother took her to the emergency room and demanded they perform neurological tests and scans to find the cause. Melissa was then diagnosed with brain cancer. The family immediately met with doctors and specialists to discuss treatments and prognosis. Surgery was not an option as the tumor was already too large. With aggressive chemotherapy and radiation to her brain, the oncologist provided the prognosis of 3 to 4 months to live for Melissa. Receiving this news would be devastating for any family. And for Melissa's parents, who were recently separated, and her 5 siblings, the news sent the family into a state of shock. Melissa's father moved home so he could help support the family, and her mother quit her job so that she could drive Melissa 60 miles to the hospital for daily treatments. Her chemotherapy and radiation treatments lasted 8 hours a day, and she endured the treatments 5 days a week. Melissa's older siblings had to help out more around the home, with the chores and with caring for the younger children. This adjustment affected everyone in the home as the roles changed to accommodate Melissa's illness and treatments. One of the nurses that helped administer Melissa's chemotherapy became close with the family and referred them to Make-A-Wish Arizona. I received a phone call asking if I could help on a rush wish, meaning we had a child who was not expected to make it much longer, and we needed to take action immediately to grant her wish. You may ask why granting a wish is important in situations like this. Granting a wish allows the child and their family to focus on something fun and exciting, even if it's just for a moment. It takes their minds off doctor's visits and the inevitable fate they will soon have to face. We have found the positive effects of making a child smile when they are ill gives the family a lifetime of good memories. The wish was to have her bedroom redecorated to resemble her favorite Disney movie, Frozen. We spent 2 weeks on her bedroom. The carpet was replaced with tile to make the room more sanitary. The closet was remodeled to accommodate space for Melissa and her sister, who shared the bedroom. Furniture was donating, providing both girls with new beds and dressers and a desk to do homework. The walls were painted bright, cheery blue, and the Frozen characters were added for that special touch that Melissa had requested. The smile on Melissa's face when she walked into her new room was breathtaking. This girl was struggling with all the treatments she was going through, and she generally showed very little emotion. But her face lit up with pure joy and happiness. She now had a comfortable new bed where she spent most of her time outside of treatments and her own space. She was able to enjoy the bedroom for 2 months before passing away. I received a call from her mother informing me of her passing, and in that call, her mother thanked me numerous times for making her baby girl so happy when she was very sick. She believed that Make-A-Wish was the reason she had a few extra months with her daughter. Not surprisingly, I have heard that often from other parents of wish kids as well. There's something about boosting the morale and showing them the joys of life. Some children even make miraculous recoveries after having a wish granted. Unfortunately, this family is not the only family who has heard the news that their child has a life-threatening disease. Chronic illness among children is fairly common. Nearly 43% of children between the ages of birth and 17 years old in the United States are diagnosed with a chronic illness. On occasion, these children are diagnosed with more than one illness. Chronic illness is defined as any medical condition lasting 3 months or longer. Oftentimes, these illnesses are incurable, but not always. The terrible diseases we hear about most often, such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and respiratory disease, are all considered chronic illnesses. Some children are born with the disease, but others, like Melissa, are diagnosed during childhood. In fact, the Department of Health and Human Services states that some illnesses are not detected, nor do they know what causes them. However, on occasion, some serious illnesses can be prevented by a healthy diet and regular physician care. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the National Cancer Institute, cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among children and adolescents in our country. In 2014, the National Cancer Institute estimated that nearly 16,000 children between the ages of birth and 19 years old would be diagnosed with some form of cancer. And of those, almost 2,000 children would die from the disease. With technology and new medications and treatment plans emerging, the survival rates continue to climb. For example, in 1975, there was a 50% chance that children surviving cancer, but that percentage climbed to 80% from 2014 to 2010, and it continues to rise. Childhood obesity is the leading cause of diabetes in children living in the United States. There has been a steady increase in childhood obesity from 1971 to 2006. That's over 10% in ages 12 to 19 years old. Type 2 diabetes was previously referred to as adult onset diabetes until recently. More children are being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes due to obesity. Children who are overweight have problems regulating insulin, causing high blood pressure and numerous other health issues. Some common signs of type 2 diabetes are fatigue, increased appetite, frequent urination, and slow healing sores. Heart disease comes in many forms. Some children are born with a defective heart, while others have hearts that become damaged over time. Congenital heart disease is a defect the baby is born with. However, it may not be diagnosed until infancy. Other types of congenital heart disease can be diagnosed in a prenatal screening before the baby is born. Most children born with this disease will survive and can lead somewhat normal, healthy lives with frequent doctor visits. Acquired heart disease is not present at birth, but is acquired in infancy or youth. Like diabetes, childhood obesity is also a contributing factor to heart disease among children. Whether a child is born with the illness or diagnosed later, any family caring for a chronically ill child will face many challenges. Families have to learn everything about the illness and how it is treated. They depend on the knowledge of the medical field to answer questions and provide treatment. During this time, it is important that all members of the family maintain stable mental health in order to care for the ill child. Another challenge comes with financial responsibility, taking care of medical bills, loss of wages for parents, and taking care of other children or other family members in the home. We will now take a closer look at the medical information a family will need to learn and how it should be presented to them. Learning the diagnosis immediately causes stress, and it is up to the medical staff to understand how much information the parents are capable of hearing at that point in time. Imagine being a parent and receiving news that your 3-year-old daughter has a brain tumor. Do you feel you would fully function enough to hear all the other details and move forward after that diagnosis is told to you? Some may need to defer information to later appointments to make sure all important information is being comprehended. The medical staff should start by building a strong relationship with the parents and other family members. This will help the family trust the staff and be confident in the information being relayed to them. Building that relationship plays a large role in the comfort level of the parents. The doctor and the nurses must not only treat the child, but they must also be sympathetic and build a relationship with the family to earn their trust. While we know this is not how the medicine is practiced today, Wouldn't it be beneficial to have complete faith in your child's medical team? Some hospitals have counselors or volunteers on staff that will help the families with mental wellness. They may also refer them to organizations that will help them along their journey. Many parents have never been in this situation before, so putting their child in the hospital and not being their primary caregiver for a period of time can be an extremely difficult transition. When discussing treatment options with the parents, the doctors will need to provide 3 key pieces of information. Parents need to know the facts about the disease, how the medical staff plan to make their child well again, and finally what the parents can expect after the treatment plan. Stating all the known facts about the illness will provide the parents with information needed in order to make important decisions on how to move forward. If the doctor is not confident in the approach, parents may stray and find information elsewhere, such as the internet, and create more panic than is necessary. During this time, they will often discuss the prognosis of the ill child if it is a life-threatening disease. Sometimes the treatment is only to make the child more comfortable and not prolong their life. Much like in Melissa's case, the doctors knew the cancer was not treatable, but they provided options to the parents to prolong her life, even if it was just for an additional month or 2. Doctors should be clear with the parents when discussing the prognosis to allow them time to prepare for the road ahead. Parents dealing with the illness of a child need help from all resources, but will heavily lean on the hospital staff for knowledge and comfort. During these hospital stays, it is imperative for families to have support and understanding about medical treatments and surgeries performed on their child. Nurses play an important role in making the family comfortable, both during diagnosis and treatment. If a child is newly diagnosed with a life-threatening illness, extended hospital stays may be required for treatment and observation. It is also important that the family understands the difference between palliative care and hospice care during this time. In many situations, families may be afraid to seek help because they don't know the difference between the specialties when caring for their child. To tell the difference, palliative care is defined as a treatment plan for all aspects of the illness, including pain management, psychological and mental wellness, and treatments that will prolong life. Hospice, on the other hand, focuses more on pain management and preparing the patient and their family for the end of life. Nonprofit foundations often have volunteers or staff members who visit hospitals regularly to speak with families and provide assistance in understanding the disease their child is facing. These organizations provide other resources for parents outside of hospital staff as well, and some include how to get financial assistance. Keeping the family in a sound state of mind will help with the ill child focus on getting better. Mental illness should be considered when dealing with these families. The mental health of the family must be taken into consideration when discussing treatment plans of their child. Exhaustion can affect a parent's ability to make important decisions. The parents need reassurance from the hospital staff that they are caring for their child properly. Strengthening that confidence can improve their mental well-being and provide them with support needed to get through the treatment plans their children are facing. Developing roles within the family can also eliminate stress. Parents should decide who will be the primary caregiver that goes to all the doctor's appointments and who will continue working to support the family. Defining these roles early will make a difference down the road when teamwork is imperative. In Melissa's family, her father moved back into the home to support them financially and to help care for the other children. All in all, keeping a positive attitude around a chronically ill child will help them focus on getting better and fighting their disease. Organizations such as Make-A-Wish help the family focus on the positive aspects of being together and enjoying each other. The financial burden a family deals with can be overwhelming. Medical expenses can be very costly for families with chronically ill children, compounded with the fact that one parent usually finds it difficult to work a full-time job while taking care of medical appointments and hospital stays. Other expenses can include specialized child care, specialized equipment such as wheelchairs, or even a handicap-equipped vehicle. And there are other additional medical supplies that may be needed in the home and other expenses that most families do not incur. According to the 2014 U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 76% of women with children ages 6 to 17 years old are employed outside of the home. So when a child becomes ill or the mother gives birth to a special needs child, the mother generally leaves the workforce to stay home and care for that child. This results in a significant amount of lost wages for the family that depend on income from both supporting parents. With the loss of one job, that can also mean changes in insurance plans and costs. Asking for help can be difficult for a family that is normally self-sufficient in other circumstances. However, asking for help is sometimes necessary. Friends, family members, and others in the community want to help, but may be unsure about how to approach the subject. Anonymous donating websites and community fundraisers allow help for the family without putting the burden back on them to ask for it. There are also some government programs the family may qualify for financial assistance, and some nonprofit organizations who are willing to help them. Families can receive assistance from a number of organizations, some offering private direct financial assistance, while others may offer government assistance. Some organizations I found include the Cancer Fund of America, which is a national nonprofit that is helping families with expenses related to cancer that may not be covered by insurance. Their website gives facts about cancer and explains how they can help families in need. The United Healthcare Children's Foundation states that they will fill the gaps between medical expenses and what insurance covers for children who are chronically or terminally ill. This organization is able to help based on grants that they receive. The Brain Tumor Foundation for Children provides direct financial assistance to families who have children suffering from brain and spinal cord tumors. They also offer support groups and many other activities so that families feel that they are not alone when fighting this battle. Supplemental Security Income, otherwise known as SSI, is a Social Security program for all disabled citizens, which includes children, and depends on the family income. Medicaid is a federal and state-funded program for low-income families needing medical assistance. Both SSI and Medicaid are considered government programs or federal programs and will need certain financial criteria met before they will agree to assist. Melissa and her family learned how to cope and manage the strain the family felt in their short battle with brain cancer. Any family forced to deal with the chronic illness of a child, whether short-term or long-term, learns how to adapt to the changes and the stress an illness can cause. Helping others is a very selfless act, and it provides a great sense of pride. I urge you to pay attention to those around you and know when someone is in need of help. Little things matter to families caring for a chronically ill child. Sometimes it's just having someone to talk to, and it can change their life. In finishing my master's program, I hope to make a difference for these families in providing them with needed information to get through these tough circumstances. I thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation. Please let me know below if you have any questions. Thank you.